Hello, everybody. Hope you're all doing fantastically well. It's Connor here. We are back with another episode of the Rumour Mill. Hope you're all doing, not the Rumour Mill, it's just a One Leeds episode. I'm just so used to talking about the Rumour Mill. Listen, everyone, I hope you're all doing really, really well. Hope you're happy and I hope you're healthy. We are back here with another video, the second video of the day. If you haven't checked out the first, please go do so. And as you can see on screen, everybody, it's well worth it as well. Downloading SofaScore, you can literally just get your phone, measure it on screen right now, and it'll take you straight to SofaScore if you prefer doing that. So today's news, what have we heard? Well, we updated you a little bit earlier on things going on when it comes to my personal views on certain players and certain positions and all that sort of great stuff. But we're back here now discussing a little bit of additional news confirmed by Fabrizio Romano, spoken on the channel spoken on the channel the other day as well, on the next step for Luis Sinisterra's career. We spoke about AC Milan and Leeds not dealing with the Rossoneri too promptly. And the reason behind that was because we needed a bit of a bargaining chip. Bournemouth, a Premier League side. Bournemouth, a side that's very rich, American owners. They've already taken one of our assets off us in Tyler Adams for 25 million quid. And we were hoping it was going to be another in the form of Luis Sinisterra. I thought that maybe AC Milan wouldn't be able to dumb up a fee as much as maybe a Bournemouth, and that is the way the world right now. You're getting a Bournemouth not being able to stump up the fee that AC Milan can, and that is the way of the world right now. But I did think to myself, how is this going to work? Maybe Rafael Leao had to move on for them to go in for Sinisterra. We had an Italian journalist sort of corresponding with that thought process the other day, but it seems like, really interestingly, in light of AC Milan's interest, you have now had a real step up from Bournemouth. They have activated a deal and are in conversations with Leeds United right now for a £20 million agreement for Luis Sinisterra, the Colombian. And I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I always thought with Sinisterra that it was going to be I thought we'd be able to get a really good fee for him. I thought we'd be able to get a really, really good fee for him. I was always thinking, age-wise, the fact he's going to be in the Premier League, we bought him for around about 20 million, didn't we? And I did think to myself, you could get a really good fee for him in the Premier League, especially if he's proven himself. But Bournemouth have played it quite well, to be quite honest with you. They've not exposed him so much to see that, for him to fully show his talent. And I don't think that's a strategy whatsoever. I just think Bournemouth have been that good offensively this season with the likes of Solanke and co. So it's been one of those trials and tribulations that Sinisterra has had to go through in terms of injuries and getting back into the squads that he's been in, Leeds United, Colombia, Bournemouth. So listen, that's on him right now. He's got to get to that next level in his career again. I do feel when he was at Leeds United, he was hitting the peak of his powers at some point. And Feyenoord obviously was that upward trajectory where you're thinking, wow, this guy, Leeds United have really signed a top operator here. And I thought we had. Listen, I'm not going to double down on it. I think the guy is, if they can get him to that peak level and they can keep him fit, I think he's one of the best operators you'll get out wide for a lower tier Premier League side. But I'm not overly bothered about it. I think 20 million quid for a second tier side, that will hopefully go into our transfer kitty, be what may next season. The club haven't lost out that much. Obviously, maybe it was 2 or 3 million here and there. I can't quite remember the installments when it came to Sinisterra, but I don't mind it. We haven't been fleeced. We haven't been fleeced. And you look the other night at the options we have, and I want to speak about Jack Harrison on here as well. We spoke about him a little bit earlier on, but it'd be quite nice to speak about him in detail. But you speak about Luis Sinisterra, and you look at the options we have now. Willian Yonto knuckleballing the ball into the bottom corner the other night. 2 goals in 2 for him. Dan James, 11 goals by February, I should say. Jorginho Rutter playing out of his skin. Unbelievable when it comes to chance creation. And, obviously Somerville in that rank as well. And Jaden Anthony, who is a someone who can contribute real quality from off the bench as well, like we saw against Plymouth in the first FA Cup game. So I do look at it right now, and you look at some of the options and the ecosystem of Leeds United's wingers that have gone out. And at the start of the season, I was never oh no, Jack Harrison's gone. What will we do? You guys know that. But when Sinisterra went, I was a bit broken by it. I was a bit broken. I couldn't believe it. I didn't know if Jaden Anthony would be able to hit those dizzy heights that we saw from Sinisterra. And I think Jaden, I think what you've seen from Daniel Farker, to be fair to him, is some really good management when it comes to Anthony and Nonto. I would have liked to see them get a little bit more minutes at certain points this season, but he's made them really work hard for it. Really work hard for it. And you saw Jaden Anthony come on as score literally an elite goal that you'd see in the Premier League and go, fair play, beat three men, smash it in the, or finesse it in the bottom corner. And Willie Nonto has had two finishes which have been of the highest caliber, in my opinion. A left foot snapshot which took the keeper the other way, and the goal the other night was just unstoppable. So he's managed it quite well. Whether or not that's just coincidence, I don't know. Whether or not you just have to look at the player quality and think, look, they're always going to produce that. But the beauty of it is Leeds have managed to get some real capital back for Luis Sinisterra, and that's only positive, really. So let me just get into a few of your comments. Gav says, good business by the club. No losses as per Phil Hay. We seem to have a happy camp now. Don't want any of these loanees back. Goodbye. I'm kind of on board with the whole don't want him back. He threatened legal action. I'm just annoyed because 20 million is a bag of peanuts for someone with his raw talent. Should have pushed for 30. Yeah, Connor, I'm sort of that, but I kind of get what Gav's saying. Really, it is a player of real talent, and if they can get the most out of him and he can stay injury free, then there's an argument that he'll be popping off, 12, 13 goals a season and getting 8 or 9 assists, and that'll be a good return for 20 million quid in the Premier League. But it's all if he stays fit. But we all know that he does have that quality. 30 million, I think, would have been an intense push. I don't know how they'd have done that, especially with, the Leeds United right now. When we have Paul, obviously, we have the negotiation side, but when it comes to Sinisterra, this is a guy who threatened legal action against us. Are we going to be able to keep this guy happy and keep him okay whilst pushing for 30 million quid? Probably not. He wants to leave. He wants to play Premier League football. I'm actually really surprised he's not pushed AC Milan a little bit more, but this is a guaranteed offer for him right now. And I don't think he gives, I'll be honest with you guys, I've been told that he doesn't give about Leeds, about Bournemouth. He just wants to play at the highest level possible. He didn't really interact. If I'm telling you the truth from what I've heard, I can say it now. Obviously, he's gone and stuff, but you don't want to throw him under the bus if he's coming back to Leeds. But never interacted with any of the players off the field as well. And yeah, it was one of those that it just didn't really work in his last season at Leeds United. So you can't really look at it and think, I think if they're pushing for 30 million, all the circumstances have got to be right. You can't really be pushing for legal action. Can't be throwing the dummies out the pram. The agent can't come out in the press like he did and say things. So Leeds are in a really difficult position when it comes to sort of negotiating that contract with an agent like his, clearly, who's pretty ruthless, and Sinisterra, who quite frankly just doesn't care. He doesn't care about Leeds, doesn't care about the Championship, doesn't probably care about Bournemouth at all. It was probably the only offer on the table for him at the end. So he just wants to play at the high. And I genuinely think if you'd have had a West Ham, if you'd have had a Crystal Palace going in for him, I don't think there'd have been any. I don't think he wouldn't have. There wouldn't have been. Oh yeah, Bournemouth. Oh yeah, Bournemouth. No, it'd have been West Ham, because West Ham's just like a level up. Do you know what I mean? I don't think Sinisterra is a person to maybe look at the project. I think Sinisterra is just looking at the money and how big how big the club is in terms of standings right now. Shout out to you, Justin. Yeah, I didn't want to touch on it too much, but obviously you guys know at Cheersdale, there's been a lot of people asking and stuff. That I was in a car accident yesterday. I've been in hospital yesterday. Gone back for a checkup today, so I'm all right. But yeah, I'm all right. A little bit of whiplash, well, a bit of whiplash, but a little minor concussion as well. So yeah, I said it on the video earlier on, but just be careful out there, everyone. Be careful. Honestly, like anything can change like that. Really, going to get a coffee. That's all I was doing, and then bang, 3-car collision. So always just be careful. And even if you see this video and you go, "Oh, yeah, I'm actually, yeah, I'm going to take just a bit of extra care there because it can change in an instant. It really can, and it was very, very scary. So yeah, I just wanted to say that to all you guys. I know there's a lot of young lads who watch this as well. Don't have to be young, but can be old boys as well who watch this. No offense to anyone, and girls. And yeah, just be careful out there. It's mental, and there are some crazy drivers out there. New room, not yet, mate. No, not yet. Good to see you back, Connor. Love the content. Yeah, shout out, mate. Paul, hope you're all good. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate that one. Some nice comments in there. Yeah, cheers, Lou. I'm all good. All good. Just be careful out there. Paul says, I think we should have done a player in Cashers sign Anthony. Yeah, you're probably right, mate. I wouldn't disagree with that. Let's have a quick look. Evening, Connor. How you, Dormston? Hope you're good. Gary McGill, piss off. Weird guy. Zovic, hi, mate. I agree, mate. But where does this leave Anthony? He's not getting back in at Bournemouth. Surely Leeds could look at him permanently if we don't go up. Yeah, Anthony's an interesting predicament, mate. It's a really interesting one. What happens to him? I can't profess to know what the terms and conditions are now with Anthony. Presumably Leeds have just got. I know it was part of the Sinisterra deal, but I think there were two. It worked in a transfer saga where it was Leeds got. Obviously, Sinisterra went there. Anthony came to us, but I do wonder if it was two separate dealings. I don't know if it was an actual part exchange. If it was a part exchange, I don't know if that would affect the deal with Jadon Anthony. There might be clauses in there where Anthony just finishes his deal with us. It won't affect the deal with Anthony whatsoever, obviously. But this Sinisterra deal will probably be, we don't know the specifics yet, but there is potential that it probably all signed, sealed, and delivered by the summer months. You guys can let me know in the comment section below. Let's have a look. Evening, pal. I hope you're on the way to recovery. All good, mate. All good. Jay says, didn't he play Call of Duty with Bamford? I thought I heard this in an interview when he was competent. He's got no idea, mate. You're telling me that one. What's the weather like up there? I'm travelling tomorrow for the Leeds game. Yeah, just be careful, mate. It is a little bit snowy and wet. Happy and relieved that you're safe. Thank you so much, Ron. Really appreciate that. Hey, Paul. Kai Connor, hope you're okay after accident. Do you think Robert starts Saturday? Thanks, buddy. Do you know what, Paul? Yeah, a lot of people talking about the summer. It's really interesting when it comes to Roberts. And I was saying this on a stream earlier on. I'd like to clarify something, everyone, because I do feel with a lot of my takes. They are pretty consistent, they are pretty consistent. I don't really change my mind on players long term. Short term, players' form can improve. It really can improve. But you guys know I'm very, very consistent with what I say. I've always loved Pascal Struijk. I really like Leo Yelder. Thought there was a lot of potential there. You guys know what I was talking about for ages when it came to Mark Rocker. And I know a lot of you guys disagree. That's football. Joe Rodon. Patrick Bamford, I've never changed my thought process on that. I've never changed my line of thought. Jack Harrison, never changed my line of thought. And it's okay to change your line of thought, but it is massively frustrating sometimes when you're on this app and you're giving your thoughts. And I got a few comments earlier on saying, Connor, you change your mind like the wind. That's absolute rubbish. I am one of the worst content creators when it comes to being stubborn and believing what I believe. I do not change my mind like the wind. Form can make an impact. Of course it can. Form can make an impact on proceedings. Dan James. My long-term view of Dan James is I personally don't think it'll work in the Premier League. And I've always said that to you guys. I've always been transparent with that. I didn't think it would work in the Championship. It has worked fantastic. Now, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because of Archie Gray. Got a few comments earlier on saying this isn't, it's fine, it's just football, but I have to address this. A couple of comments talking about Connor Roberts and Archie Gray in my video earlier on. I said Archie Gray, should keep his place right now. Connor Roberts can displace him. Of course he can. But I'd keep Archie in right now. A lot of people call me a hypocrite. I don't know why I'm a hypocrite. I want him to go in central midfield and I want him to be used sparingly. I've never changed that mindset. That's always been my mindset with Archie Gray. I wanted competition in there. Connor Roberts has come in, which is fantastic. But right now, after the performances that Archie's put in, do I take him out of the weekend against the Rotherham side, who were bereft of confidence, who were 12 points clear at the bottom? Probably not. But then you guys might think that's the perfect time for Connor Roberts to come in. That's absolutely fine. But my long-term view with Archie Gray is managing his minutes because he's a young lad. We've seen injuries with youngsters who've played at Leeds and just been absolutely battered when it comes to that physical impact. Lewis Cook and Sam Byron being the standouts. And on top of that, I would like him to be in central midfield. I think he can help us out in central midfield. Manage the kids' minutes. I've always been on that line. Manage his minutes and get him back into central midfield. But as of right now, for the Rotherham game, what would I personally do? I don't mind him playing that game at all at right back. I don't mind it. But I also understand that Connor Roberts can come in for the Rotherham game and Archie can have, a time out the side. But then we've got to also, if Roberts is in the side, have a conversation, not just about Gruev, Kamara and Ampadu, but also throw Archie Gray into the mix, which is fantastic. But we have to manage these minutes now because Connor Roberts hasn't just come in to sit on the bench. So I think in time, Roberts has got to get that shirt off Archie Gray. I do genuinely think that. But, in time, I know that's going to happen. I know Archie Gray is going to be put out of this starting 11 for Connor Roberts. I do fully believe that. I think that's going to happen. But right now, I don't really see Archie completely burning out, but I would like to manage his minutes in the future. So just a few comments earlier on, but yeah, Connor Robertson and Archie Gray, absolutely fine. If you want to put Connor Robertson, that's fine. I understand that. I get that completely. But let's not have this sort of conversation. I changed my mind with the wind. That's absolute poppycock. That's rubbish. You guys all know that. You all still dig at me for loving Mark Rocker. No, it's not recording, mate. We're live. Hey mate, you doing okay? Do you think Gruev is good enough for the Prem? Ooh, good question, mate. Hi Jack. Gruev good enough for the Prem? I'm very much of the opinion that he's had an incredible month. Combative, physically, he looks brilliant. And what I'm talking about is his fitness there. He's very slight, and he's getting better and better. And I've been really impressed with him. His covering of the pitch as well. His covering of that midfield. He's shown me in the past month as well that it's not just about being a 6. I think he can move into an 8. Or he can work in 2 6s now with Ampadu, because I think he's got that much better and he's evolved his game that much that I think Gruev could be the more forward-thinking 6. But that's where I love Archie in that midfield, you see. Because if Gruev was to come out, Archie'd go in as an... I think Archie's the furthest forward midfield player that we have there, really. I think he'd be even further forward, more forward than Glenn Kamara. But overall, I think Gruev is the top performing midfielder at the minute. So I'm really, really impressed with him and I really, really like him. Do I think Gruev would work in the Premier League? We have to be careful. I think that's something we have to do. Look, we all think it's great at this moment in time, but we've got to be careful with this. It's been a month. I've seen some mental texts. There's people wanting. I don't personally agree with this, but I get why you're saying it. But there's people just putting mad disrespect on Pascal's name. Keep him out. He doesn't deserve to come back in. Are we forgetting what an unbelievable season he's had? Are we forgetting the fact he's got 6 goals? Are we forgetting the fact he's 6'4" and we're more defensively sound from set pieces and offensively better with Pascal in the side as well? Are we forgetting that he's our most proactive defender? Are we also forgetting that Ethan Ampadu has been unbelievable in midfield? I just feel these short-term reactionary takes are a bit crazy, to be honest with you. But I get it. I understand it, of course. But I think with Pascal in there, it would have still been in the same point we're at now. I really do. But overall, mate, do I think Gruev is Premier League quality? We'll just have to wait and see. The jury's still out on him for me. Setup, okay. Oh, thanks, guy. I really appreciate that, mate. I am moving flats as well, mate. So it's been a bit nuts. Now then, Connor lad, you said what? I can't even read that, mate. We're 17, and that's just you trolling again. Ryan, cheers, mate. Hope you're all good. Jay says, with Byron playing a lot of the Plymouth game and Firpo playing all of it, do we think all of them will be fit enough to play against Rotherham? It might be a case of Rotherham at left back, Roberts at left back, and Gray at right back. Yeah, mate. You're probably not wrong. I would not be surprised if we saw Roberts at left back. It feels like it's the way forward, doesn't it? It's like Spence comes in at left back. Dallas played left back. Alioski then played left back. It just feels Roberts' entire span at Leeds United. The Leeds United in the past 5 to 6 years, they'll just get a right footer and put him left back. And I'm like, okay. So Archie Gray will probably play every minute this year. And I'll just be there like, okay, yeah, not ideal, but it is what it is. And Firpo will get injured, and then Byron will be injured, and then Roberts will go left back for the remainder of the season. And we'll all be like, oh, okay. Might as well just kept Spence. But yeah, I hope not. I hope we actually see Connor at right back, and I'm really excited to see him. I think it's going to be great leadership and stuff. But in terms of people like suggesting earlier on that he comes straight in, I think what I loved the other night was him actually travelling with the squad to Plymouth. I think that's a great sign of character when you're not even playing. I think that's fantastic. He's clearly a leader. Clearly, when his interview was fantastic, talking about how he wants to really play for Leeds. It doesn't matter if the Welsh contingent's at Leeds. He would have come to Leeds anyway. And I think that's great. It's a great career move for Connor. And right back, I've always thought he was a good right back at this level in particular. So I'd like to see him used there a little bit more. But does he get straight in right now? Is he acclimatized with this Leeds United squad? The way we sort of press in certain ways. So he's not been getting as many minutes at Burnley. Archie's been playing week in, week out. His fitness is absolutely phenomenal. I understand he can break down, so it might sound a little bit contradictory here, but you've got to wonder, is Connor Roberts going to be up to that mark, this Daniel Farker mark now, this fitness mark by Saturday? That's what you got to think to yourself, But that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of having a right back, 2 right backs. It's that competition we have now. Gavin says 1 goal conceded with 5 games with Rodon and Ampadu. That's fine, Gav. But do you honestly, Gav, and subscribers, my wonderful subscribers, do we honestly think that with Pascal in that side, Leeds concede a shed ton? This is the argument we're having now. I don't know why it's become a Pascal and Ampadu chat, but it has, and this is on the waves at the minute. My suggestion would be don't have any of them out. But Ampadu was the best midfielder in the division. What debate are we having here? Why should Ampadu suddenly remain at centre back? I still think personally, Ampadu in those games, if Strauch hadn't have been available, West Brom away and Preston away, with what the squad makeup was at that moment in time and how they were playing post the Ipswich game, I still think we'd have lost. I don't think you're putting Ethan Ampadu in that side at West Bromwich Albion with the side that we had, and it's all hypothetical, but Ethan Ampadu in that side against Preston North End as well at Deepdale, and we're suddenly winning the game. That doesn't happen. So I firmly believe Pascal Strauch, if he was involved in the games post Peterborough, which some would argue we've not had as tough a game as Deepdale away and the Hawthorns away in there. Some would say we have in Bristol City and Cardiff. Okay, fair enough. But I personally think Pascal is a wonderful defender at this level. And I think Rodon, you saw the other night, and I mentioned this, and someone said they disagreed. That's absolutely fine. That's what this channel's all about. With what I said about Rodon earlier on in the video, when I said, I thought he fumbled a little bit the other night, and I thought there was 3 or 4 moments where he fumbled, but nobody criticises Rodon. Nobody criticises Rodon whatsoever. Thought he looked a little bit tetchy on the ball, not as proactive. And we've said this before with Rodon. He will funnel the ball to the right back, but he will not go forward a lot of the time. You'll never see Rodon playing a ball like Ampadu or Strauch. He just will not do it. But he gets a free pass because he's been brilliant for Leeds, and he has been brilliant for Leeds. My whole point is, if that is Strauch making those errors, he gets a lot. The treatment is very, very different to Pascal Strauch, which I don't really understand, to be honest with you. But overall, for me, Ampadu goes back into midfield. Glenn Kamara goes out. And I've now seen a very, very different dynamic with Gruev and and Purdue. Because of the development of Gruev in the last month, where I think he can play a little bit further forward, and he's shown that. He showed that the other night when he's literally darting through the middle 2 or 3 times. So I think that balance would actually quite nicely work. And as well, when Gruev has played with Ampadu before, they've had Piroe in front of them, and I think it's a completely different dynamic with Rutter there. Yeah, and that's probably where I was, J Dog, when we were speaking about Archie a little bit earlier on, mate. I don't think it's going to be that much of a change. I don't think they're going to bring in. I don't think they're going to bring in Roberts for the weekend, and there's probably a chat saying that Strout doesn't come back in. I do think it's madness, though. I do think it's madness us not playing the best midfielder in the division in midfield and just bringing Pascal in, and Pascal and Joe Rodon before the Preston game. Everybody was talking about them as the best centre back partnership in the division, and then we had 2 consecutive losses. Preston and West Bromwich Albion, and now because Ethan's been there and we've done well as a team, and Ethan's done brilliantly as well, of course he has, that now means that Strout doesn't get back in, which I think's madness. I think it's mad. I actually think he will put Strout back at the back. I think Roberts and Archie's going to be interesting, but I think when Strout's back, Strout goes back in and Ethan goes in midfield for me. Ryan says Strauch has to come back in. However, with Ampadu playing well at centre back, we don't have to panic and rush him. Yeah, that's it. You bang on, mate. You bang on. Hey, Craig. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I'm all good. PTSD with Pascal. Rodon only played 1 successful period for Leeds. Gabe's in the chat, I think. Byram always going back annoys me. The big positive of Ampadu, yeah, I agree with you there, Paul. Ampadu at centre back is that it gives him more space to dictate the play with his distribution. I'm loving the fact we don't have to rush Strauch back and Farkas. And I said, yeah, exactly. Hey, it's all great news, isn't it? Connor Roberts, Archie Gray, Ampadu, Pascal. I just personally think that we look stronger with a 6'4" Goliath at the back who plays wonderful football. And can get Leeds a little bit further up the pitch. Ampadu's literally one of my favourite players. And I loved him in midfield. And it'd be quite nice now to see that dynamic between him and Gruev. I think that'd be good. Look, some of you may disagree. That's absolutely fine. I don't think Glenn Kamara has been, and I am the one who at the start, I mean, how many times did I call him Silky Smooth Operator? I mean, I literally have, but I will be fair. Ampadu, I was the one glowing about Ampadu at the start of Kamara at the start of the season more than anyone. I absolutely loved him, and I do love him. But for me, he's been off colour a little bit, and there's tendencies in his play which are frustrating me a little bit at the minute. The little check backs, never ever sweeps a ball. Never sweeps a ball. You never see him open his body that much and quickly pass that ball. He's very, very similar, in my opinion, Glenn Kamara in terms of holding on to the ball as a Piroe, I should say. Too long on the ball. And I think the opposition are able to sort of like reconvene and structure themselves a little bit when Kamara's on the ball, whereas Gruev will get rid of it a lot quicker. Ampadu will get rid of it a lot quicker. And then Jorginho and the front men just do whatever they do, don't they? And they're just able to... The front men that we have in Somerville, Rutter, in particular, are able to keep hold of that ball a little bit longer because they're going to be direct, dynamic, go forward, and they're going to make something happen. Piroe and Kamara, it's a bit pedestrian, and I think they're both in the same mould at the minute. So Kamara coming out as Piroe came out, I don't think it'll cause us that many problems, to be honest. I don't think you're going to see a drastic decrease in how proficient we are in that midfield. Yeah, fair enough. It's opinions, isn't it? It's opinions. I don't think he's been great for about a month, but that's just my thoughts on it. The maturity of Gray Connor is incredible. I hope we bring through more use. I hope yeah, Joseph was class, Cal. He was absolute. I loved seeing Joseph. How fit does he look? Don't clip that. But how fit does he look? Like physically, that little check back he did when he smashed the bar. Absolutely smashed it. I love that, and his hunger. He's got something about him. He's got a bit of an SHIT house about him as well. He's always absolutely willing to run his bag out to get anything. The Luis Suarez is about him, in the channels, chasing down the keeper, chasing down the defender. He must be a nightmare. And he looks about 6'1", 6'2" as well. And he's filled out. And another person who's not getting enough credit from the other night as well, and I've got to put it on here because in those little pockets, in those instances, I'm seeing him get on the ball. I'm seeing him release it quicker. I'm seeing him with those sort of nice, intricate trio passes with a central midfielder and a right winger. I'm seeing it a lot with Joe Gelhardt. I thought that performance with Joe Gelhardt, he looked much better, looked leaner. He looks a lot fitter as well when he's moving about the place. I thought Gelhardt was really, really good, really impressed, and that's what he needed as well. Just a performance like that, and you're looking at it now, and because we've not seen those sort of performances from those two yet, Joseph and Gelhardt. I know they didn't get on the score sheet, both hit the woodwork, and I know Piroe hit the woodwork as well. But I just felt that they had a little bit more influence on the game in the minutes that they had than Piroe. I know Piroe did what he did, hit the woodwork, didn't he? But it's one of those performances again where he's holding onto the ball too much. He slows Leeds down. Gelhardt, I think, sort of increased the tempo. And I thought Joseph looked just an absolute spark up front. And I'm really, really happy with the fact that you don't just look at them now as bench options and go, oh, yeah, no, there is Joseph and there is Gelhardt. I'm looking at those two now and you're wondering, with that performance, how close they are to Piroe and Anthony. Piroe and Anthony are always the ones, aren't they? Piroe and Anthony, who come on every game. Tell you what, Joseph and Gelhardt have just thrown both the hats into the ring there, in my opinion. I thought they were really influential the other night. So that was great to see. Unambiguous. Yeah, Callum, I know it's getting clipped. We used to have a out of context one lead, so that needs to come back. That was very, very, very funny. Kamara could be knackered. He came from a lot easier league. Good problem to have. When was the last time we looked at our midfield and could argue about who should play that? Exactly, mate. Kaiser, hi, mate. Hi, Con. I hope you are the accent and always enjoying the podcast. Keep up the good work, mate. Matt Sean's going Super League. Thank you so much, mate. Really appreciate that. Joseph and Joffrey looked hungry to perform. They know if they want to get into this team, they have to show up. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Thoughts on Cooper's performance the other night? Thought he was good. Yeah, I did Frosty's. Yeah, thought he was good. Thought he was safe. Good option. I think it was sort of. I mean, we were having this discussion, weren't we, on the debrief and on other means that it was maybe a little bit problematic that we didn't get another centre back in. But probably when you take a step back and look at it, I did say that we did have this conversation, to be fair. But if you're looking at a Joe Worrell as an example, who Leeds were apparently after, we don't know if that's true. But if they were after a Joe, what's the point when you've got a Liam Cooper? It's the exact same sort of player, isn't it? And I know Worrell's right. Worrell's right and Cooper's left of a back two. But same players, leaders, both pretty average on the ball, in my opinion. Same recovery pace, but experienced. They're able to sort of... They're proactive as defenders, not what they once were. But yeah, and Cooper will come in every now and again, but I think he's more, behind the scenes, isn't he? Behind the scenes, which is fine. Will Dallas be fit for the playoffs? I hope so, mate. After last time, he was brilliant against Derby, wasn't he? You think Piroe will stay at Leeds? I do now. I don't in the Premier League. Hot take. That's my hot take. I think if Leeds got to the Premier League, they'd look to sell Piroe on. Can't believe you said that. That's my take on it. And I think Leeds would be fine doing that. You make your money on him. If you sell him to a demoted club or whatever, if Burnley were to go down or whatever, I'm sure they'd take a punt on him. I'm not saying he has to leave, by the way, or get rid of him or whatever. But if he can't get into this system now as a 16 million quid player, there's no way he's getting into the system in the Premier League. And I've you guys know, I've always questioned his athleticism. And his time on the ball needs to drastically improve. It's too long. He's not. It doesn't seem to be something that he's working out as well. I've said this. We've had conversations about this on this channel for 8 weeks. He needs to start working out that it's too pedestrian when he's on the ball. 1 touch, 2 touch, where he's having 5, 6 touches, and Leeds are getting caught. He's getting caught. A lot of last minute lunges, last minute passes. He needs to sort that out. If he thinks he's getting to the Premier League and he's going to be featuring for Leeds United in the Premier League, which is what he will have been thinking when he signed for the club, obviously. He's never had that Premier League exposure, your Piroe. If he thinks he's getting to the Premier League, being that pedestrian, I mean, we'll just get gobbled up, and he will be the highlight of everything going wrong, which I don't want for him. I want it to work out for him at Leeds, but I think now it's fine. But he shouldn't be a bench option as a £16 million player. But should we have gone and got him as a £16 million player if he's not going to fit into a system? Because Farker's doing nothing wrong. He's doing absolutely nothing wrong, Daniel Farker. He's not a 9. So I don't know what he is, and I don't know where he fits. And when I'm seeing Gelhardt the other night, I know it's just a little bit of a cameo from Gelhardt, but I'm seeing things quicker. I'm seeing Gelhardt look physical. I'm seeing Gelhardt look more Premier League ready in the minutes that he got than Piroe has. In a while. Listen, and I know he hit the bar, I know he hit the post, all this sort of stuff, and I know he's getting goals. Of course he is, but he just strikes me as a luxury player. Could be wrong, as I say. And yeah, he scores goals. That's good to have. I guess you agree. You agree. £16 million player on the bench is normal. Yeah, I think all I'd say with that is if Leeds had the option to sell him on by a demoted club or whatever. If Leeds had that option, I think Leeds would exercise that. If you got a Burnley coming in from hypothetically they went down for 20 million, I think Leeds would exercise that 100%. I don't think they're going to be rejecting that sort of offer, and they'll be looking to make their money back on him. He's not getting any minutes. Do you know what I mean? Obviously got minutes the other night, but I mean consistent Premier League minutes. And with the greatest of respect, Pat Bamford, with where he's at, I know he's been decent for Leeds, but where Pat Bamford's at, he shouldn't be getting ahead of Joel Piroe. Even though, but then the question comes back: why did we sign him if he's not a number 9? Where does he fit? It's all up in the air, isn't it? But Connor, Super Bowl watch on Sunday, potentially, mate, potentially. I matched on together. Great game the other night. Best extra time I've ever watched. Well done to the lads. Pascal should be straight back in until else is proven on Saturday. Top 2 coming. Yeah, 100%, mate. 100%. Yeah, he did. No, I don't. Frosties. I don't think there's anything to do with it, mate. I don't. But it's not. It's all good, isn't it? I think it's all. Maybe Gabe, maybe. But Super Bowls, no, I'm not going to say that. In the box pro is fine. His lack of pace is an issue, which is why he doesn't work in the 10. You could argue a few of our attacking players hold the ball for 1 or 2 touches too long. We are, mate. But I think, Jay, the difference between Somerville, Rutter, and Piroe, all very different players, but Rutter and Somerville are very dynamic and very direct. And the problem with Piroe is he's passive and pedestrian. And that's the issue. And he's not got that agility/speed that those two have over short distances, and hence why he gets caught a lot. So yeah, for me. But yeah, loads of great comments coming in, everybody. Listen, that's going to be it for me. I've done quite a bit today. I am actually moving flats. This is going to be the last time in here. Last time. So honestly, for like the best part of 15 months, I've been in this flat now, and it's been brilliant. And this is it, last night. So things will be moving. My internet connection isn't going to be great for the next couple of weeks, but I will be getting loads of content out to you guys. Don't worry about that. But stay with me. Bear with me. It's been a mental week, as you know. And I'm moving flats tomorrow, so it's about to get even more mental. So listen, if you want to join the Patreon, make sure you do so. Well worth it. £4 a month. Gave them a little bit of an update yesterday on what was going on, but we normally have podcasts per week and all this sort of stuff with Gabe in the chat, my old man, and some bonus bits. If you want to become a YouTube member, you can. £2 a month, well worth it. So score on the screen. Download it via the QR code, or link is in the description below. Please, before you leave, like the video, subscribe, and comment. Let's say goodbye to Flat 10. It's been an absolute pleasure. And guys, I hope you've enjoyed the content today. Listen, I've been trying to grind it out, even though I've been in a bit of pain. So leave a like for that. Really appreciate all your support always. Lovely messages the other day. And guys, I'll catch you on the other side. Cheers.